everyone! Welcome to the episode of Let's Complete the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I can't really run around like I usually do at the beginning of an episode in this room because it's so small and we are so fast.
Worthy of your attention.
I don't, but thanks. Okay, so I'm super excited for this episode. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of talking. Well, not talking. Well, I'm going to be doing a lot of talking, but don't I always? Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of lore in this episode. However, it is important lore, so... You know, if you don't like that, I understand, but also it has to be done. So, Archcanon Cerrone has suggested that the temple's policy concerning the Nerevarine might change and has arranged a private meeting with Lord Vivec. He gave me 2 keys, one to the private back entrance to his quarters and the other to a locked entrance to Lord Vivec's palace. He says the Ordinators are not under his control and asks that I avoid them. Lord Vivec is expecting me and perhaps I shouldn't keep him waiting. Okay, so I think this is... Yeah, both of these doors are locked, which is kind of weird. I mean, I assume I'm not going to get in trouble if I go through here? No, okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, private key. Okay, we need to find a way out of here first. Oh my god. Okay, actually, I wonder what happens, actually, if we talk to an Ordinator. Will they attack us?
Vivec.
Yeah. Will they attack us? Justice never sleeps. Almsavi watch over you. Okay. You're not going to attack me? What if can I talk to them about the Nerevarine? Yeah, Nerevarine. You are the one they call Nerevarine. You are a heretic, and all who support you are heretics. You may think Imperial law protects heretics, and you may be right, but some of the Temple faithful care little for Imperial law. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the way he said that, I thought they were gonna attack me. How the hell do I get out of here, by the way? I have literally no idea, and I can't get past these damn guards. Yeah, man, it's been a little while. Vivec Temple? Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. So, we need to go to Vivec's palace. I'm so excited about this. I feel like... I think I might be getting confused, actually, but I thought Vivec talks. Wow, that was a really big jump. But I don't think he does. Maybe there's like a mod that makes Vivec talk or something and I'm getting it confused, but yeah, man. You know, I was having a bit of trouble when I first started this episode with setting up the settings, because for some reason my PC had reset them all for some reason, I don't know why. So yeah, I was struggling to get the like ratio right on the screen, because sometimes it's like, I don't know, like the sides of the monitor are kind of cut off and I don't know why it does that. But so I was trying to compare like the quality of what you are seeing now to like my old videos to see if I got it right, and I was like, honestly, I can't even tell, because it's just like, is it shit or is it slightly less shit, you know? Because yeah, only 2 settings. But anyway, that's enough talking. I am super excited to hear what Vivec has to say, although, like I said, I don't think he'll actually be doing any talking, but hey. So, Vivec, Palace of Vivec, apparently it's trapped and it's lock level 100, but we have the key, so... Ah! And there we go! That's Lord Vivec himself. Pretty cool looking. You can see he's like half gold, half, well, blue. It's meant to be grey, I think. Yeah, half blue, so he's like half Kai'ma, half Dunmer. And if you don't know the lore about that, basically the Dunmer, well, the Kai'ma were changed into the Dunmer because they pissed off Azura. Oh, look at this, we've got some more lore back here. But anyway, let's just get into it, because I think this episode is going to be a lot of talking. And also, I think Irvellin is probably pissing himself excitement right now. But anyway, hello, Lord Vivec. I expected you. We have business, you and I. Yes, we do. Okay, yeah, this is going to be a lot of lore, so buckle up. When I was young, like you, I was very impatient, so I will keep your business short. Then later, there may be time for other things. First, I propose to remove my curse upon the Nerevarine, end the persecution of the dissident priests, and proclaim to all Morrowind that Irvellin is the incarnate and Nerevarine, the prophesied saviour of Morrowind, and the last hope to withstand the menace of Dagor Thur and the Sixth House. These things I will do, whether you wish or not. Next, I propose to surrender to you the power and responsibility of defeating Dagor Thur. You may choose to refuse. I will not compel you. You will receive the power as a gift, in the form of an artifact called Wraithguard. You may accept the gift, then do with it as you will. You will receive the responsibility as an oath. You may give your oath, then keep it or break it as you like. First, will you accept Wraithguard as a gift? Yes. I accept Wraithguard. Good, sensible of you. And now will you give your oath, before all gods and men, before all spirits visible and invisible, before my honour and your honour, to dedicate yourself and Wraithguard to the defeat and destruction of Dagor Thur and the preservation of Morrowind and its people. Yes, I so swear. Not very sensible, but very good. I was hoping for someone who would have no hesitation about making such an oath. You will now have a brief, momentary sensation of time passing. Don't be alarmed, you are being taken out of time in order to avoid the unpleasant experience of learning how to use Wraithguard. It will be over before... There is a brief sensation of motion in total darkness, floating but without a sense of weight or direction. You know it. Now I will notify the temple that you are a champion. There shall be no more prosecution of the dissident priests, and I hope both sides shall swiftly be reconciled. Yeah, that's totally how these things always turn out, isn't it? We have time for questions if you like, or you may leave as you wish, but I think there are at least 2 things you ought to know before you leave. How to use Wraithguard and how to defeat Dagoth-Ur. So okay, hang on, he like took us out of time so that we didn't like have a mental breakdown, I guess, on how to use Wraithguard, because it's like because there's a lot of lore behind Wraithguards and the other 2 artifacts that I know that we're going to get, but I don't want to spoil that. There's a lot of lore, and I really encourage you to, you know, if you're, I've said this before, but if you're interested in lore, go and watch Fudge Muppet, I love them. But yeah, so I know there's a lot of lore, but yeah, so I guess, I don't know, if we fully experienced, I don't know, like the power of Wraithguard or something, we'd just have a mental breakdown and cease to exist, I suppose, but anyway, we can't ask about Wraithguard, but it has been added to our inventory, so I guess we just magically know how to use Wraithguard, but he's not going to explain it to us for lore reasons. I think they probably just didn't want to actually have to explain it, but, you know. Tell me about how to defeat Dagoth-Ur, though. That is pretty essential to the task at hand. To defeat Dagoth-Ur, go to Red Mountain to recover the artifact hammer Sunder from Gate Citadel Veminal, then recover the artifact blade Keening from Gate Citadel Odrosel. Man, all of these names, not good. Then proceed with Wraithguard, Sunder, and Keening to the Citadel of Dagoth-Ur. Within the Citadel, find the Heart of Lorkhan. Use the 3 artifacts to sever Dagoth-Ur's connection to the heart, and he will be destroyed. And the blight ended on Morrowind. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Keening and Sunder are the other 2 artifacts. To destroy Dagoth-Ur, you must sever his connection with the Heart of Lorkhan. To do this, strike the heart with the artifact hammer Sunder once. Then strike the heart more than once with the artifact blade Keening. You must wear Wraithguard because you cannot handle either Sunder or Keening unless you are wearing Wraithguard. That is the short, simple explanation. Here is the long, detailed explanation written down for your convenience. Read it, study it, commit it to memory. Okay, Plan to Dagoth-Ur has been added to your inventory. Okay. So we need to be wearing, because Wraithguard's their gloves, by the way. So we need to hit the heart with the hammer once, and then just, I mean, he doesn't say how many times we need to hit it with Keening, just many times, more than once. Well, it was more than once though. Are we talking like twice or like 30 times? Because that's it makes a difference, you know, but I guess we've got to figure that out for ourselves. So, Red Mountain? In my library, I've made available 2 conflicting accounts of the events of Red Mountain. My own true account and another false account, common among the Ashlanders and preserved in the Apocrypha. I don't care whether you believe my account or not. I leave it up to you to judge which is true. Well, Irvellin would obviously believe the Vex, word for word. But we will go and look at those anyway. Your library? I want your trust and willing cooperation, so I've had the priests make copies of a number of documents. They're here for you to read or take with you. Take a look at them. Help yourself. Just Dagoth-Ur? He's a former... Yeah, okay, well, we will read this. Dagoth-Ur is a former Lord High Counselor of House Dagoth. He was of Lord Nerevar's generation, older than we, and a mighty sorcerer and enchanted in life. In his sustained shadow immortality, he appears to be a highly intelligent, severed, deluded, immortal monster with unparalleled supernatural abilities. He appears, by turns, lucid and deranged, compassionate and bestial, profoundly wise and profoundly disordered. In short, he is a mad god. Hey, that's Sheogorath. We can't have 2 mad gods. Yeah, I've got to put a stop to that, guys. There's only room for 1. What about council? You need to know, where is Dagoth-Ur? What are Dagoth-Ur's plans? Who are Dagoth-Ur's servants? Who is Dagoth-Ur? What are Dagoth-Ur's powers? What is known about Dagoth-Ur's defenses? How can I prepare for battle against Dagolther? Who can help? Wow, that is... Jesus Christ, that's a lot of talk. Yeah, like I said, there's going to be a lot of talking in this episode. Okay, well, let's just start the top, shall we? Where is Dagolther? Dagolther has never ventured out of the Heart Chamber, the place under Red Mountain where the heart of Lorkhan lies. It is there or nearby that he is constructing a new god, a Kulakan, also known as Second Numidium. Yeah, we are getting real deep into lore here. His plans? We know nothing for sure, but we have learned much from interrogating Sixth House cultists and victims of dream compulsions, and from our study of Dagolther's actions, the temple scholars and inquisitors have prepared a document, Dagolther's plans, that summarizes what we know or suspect. Take this copy. It is also available in my library. Okay. Oh, you know what? That's actually just reminded me, because we do have one or two quests that are to do with like the the sleepers in town. That sometimes they just accost us and they're like, oh, Dagolther is awakening, submit or whatever, and you just kind of ignore them. I don't know. Do we need to do that before we defeat Dagolther? We might. Okay, well, I think today's pretty much going to be entirely reading, I think. So I think we'll do the lore, and then I will make sure to look up whether or not we need to do that first, because I don't want to miss that if so. Okay, Dagolther's servants. Chief among his servants are his 7 brothers, the Ash Vampires, powerful heart-wights and cunning sorcerers of old. These creatures appear to die, but always are revived at the heart. Somehow Dagolther has conferred some portion of his immortality upon them, or perhaps they sustain themselves through more conventional sorcery. Okay. Well, we know who Dagolther is, yeah, okay. Dagolther's powers? He's able to send his mind into the dreams of susceptible victims across vast distances. The victims are either swayed by his compulsions or driven mad. He also seems nearly invulnerable to physical and magical flesh. Magical harm. His flesh, and the flesh of his followers, evolves towards a mutable magical form. Dagolther and the highest ranks can control the distorted manifestations of their flesh. Lower ranks lose control of their bodies and become mindless, corporous monsters. His defenses? Confer with the Ordinators and Buoyant Armigers, garrisoning Ghostgate for the latest information about the defenses of the citadels of Dagolther and his heart-white kin. Okay. Prepare for battle? Prepare for war. Beyond the Ghost Fence there is no safe place. No allies, stockpile resources. Plan for retreat and replenishment. Quest for artifacts of power. Okay, so yeah, that's just saying basically, if you're not powerful, if you're not high enough level yet, turn back and do something else yet. And who can help? Ordinators, yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, do you have any more dialogue, Vivek? I don't think so. I think that was everything. Yes. Okay, well, thank you very much, Vivek, for all your help. We now have, oh, no, I've been playing Skyrim, so I'm getting my controls mixed up. So he gave us, like, a shitload of stuff. We've got sermons. Dagolther's plans. Okay, let's read those first. How long is this? Oh my god. Oh my god, really? Well, I did say at the beginning this is going to be a lore-focused episode, and it is important, and it's very interesting to me, and I'm sure it's interesting to other people. So we are going to read everything. You can, I guess, if you don't care about the lore or you already know this, you can just skip this episode because I don't think we'll be doing anything else other than reading, really. Except maybe, I guess, going to Ghostgate, but we'll see. So, Dagolther's plans. The following documents were prepared by the temple scholars and agents of the Inquisition for Lord Vivek. From interrogations of captured sleepers and other Sixth House cultists, from studies of manuscripts written by cultists and victims of dream-induced mania, from interviews with Lord Vivek concerning historical campaigns against Red Mountain, and from broad conjectures and inferences made upon these materials, this is our best estimate of Dagolther's motivations and objectives in this most recent phase of his war upon Morrowind. That was, yeah, every single document they write in Morrowind, they don't like full stops. They really love run-on sentences, and yeah, I feel like they need to just write a few shorter sentences, you know? I feel like that would be beneficial, but anyway. Basic objectives. 1. Establish a theocracy in Morrowind based on the worship of the newborn god Akulakan, Second Numidium, to be created by Dagolther from the heart of Lorkhan, and a body constructed according to the principles and rituals pioneered by the Dwemer Kagrenak. Establish the ancient heirs of House Dagoth as the god priests of Akula Khan, and the sixth house of Dagoth as the dominant political power in Morrowind. Through charismatic conversion, unite the Dunmer under the guidance of Dagoth to battle against the foreign animals who hold Morrowind in subjugation. Note: Dagoth has apparently adopted the views and motivations of the Dwemer High Craft Lord Kagranak. In effect, he recapitulates the ancient blasphemous folly of the Dwemer. 2. Expose the false worship of the tribunal and destroy the ecclesiastical authority and political power of the temple. How much the dissident priests of the cult of the Nerevarine may be controlled or influenced by the sixth house in this regard is open to speculation. 3. Extirpate all remaining individuals of inferior and mongrel races from Morrowind. 4. Drive the Empire from Morrowind. 5. Recover ancient territories stolen by Skyrim and Argonia. 6. Extend the worship of Akula Khan to all nations of Tamriel through subversion and conquest. Plans to establish and expand the Sixth House. Phase 1. Secure Red Mountain against tribunal intruders. Deny tribunal access to the heart, weakening the temple while securing Red Mountain for the creation of the Akula Khan. Keep the construction of Second Numidium a secret. Oh, well, you failed there. Phase 2. Create passive servants in ever-widening circles around Red Mountain by broadcasting compulsions couched in dream imagery to susceptible subjects in their sleep. Establish a major operational base at Kogarun for further operations in the Ash Wastes. We visited Kogarun, right? I'm pretty sure we did. Establish smaller bases near small port villages and in lower-class waterfront districts in Vivek. Infiltrate and subvert smuggling syndicates, recruiting willing followers from disaffected populations, including the underworld, the poor, and rabid anti-imperial activists. Phase 3. Expand from smaller bases to other towns and villages, and recruit and indoctrinate subjects made susceptible by dream sendings. Occupy abandoned towers and ruins, and train corrupted cultists as raiders and irregular troops. Identify, discredit, and disseminate possible sources of political resistance. Phase 4. Use assassination and terror to weaken, distract, and disrupt the legions and the imperial bureaucracy, along with their Hlalu sympathizers. Inspire popular uprising of the native poor against the foreign rich and powerful. Summon sleepers and dreamers to Dagoth to work on Second Numidium. Inferring Dagoth perspectives. Dagoth thinks on a large timescale for the most part. In the outside of time scale of the divine consciousness, he thinks that only obstacles of mythical scale are worth consideration. He believes he is fated to rule Morrowind, to free Morrowind of the Empire, and to become the new hard-loving father of Morrowind. Given that perspective, the only opposing forces Dagoth worries about are the Tribunal, the Daedra, the Emperor, and the Incarnate. With the Tribunal's loss of Sunder and Keening, and with the diminishing resources of Vivek, Almalexia, and Sotha Sil, Dagoth believes he has permanently gained a decisive strategic advantage on a mortal timescale. On a mortal timescale, the battle may last for centuries, but the outcome is not in doubt. Any Akula Khan may be a device for dramatically reducing the timescale for a decisive victory. The myth of dynamic invincibility of the Emperor and the Empire has long been an unquantifiable and intimidating threat, but recent rumours of unrest in Cyrodiil, of the Emperor's failing health, and the unsettling question of the succession have diminished the scale of that threat. Nonetheless, the revelation that the Nerevarine is a pawn of Imperial intelligence, hand-picked and sent to Morrowind by the Emperor himself, may cause Dagoth considerable anxiety. So yeah, that was we were sent by Emperor Uriel Septim. Although he didn't actually tell us his plans, he just kind of released us. But hey, the Daedra represent no coherent obstacle to Dagoth. Nonetheless, their personal abilities and their influence upon their fanatic followers is considerable. Their motives and actions obscure, and Dagoth remains concerned about them. The Incarnate represents Saint Nerevar, a mythic force that has previously defeated Dagoth, and Dagoth is obsessed with this threat. At the same time, Dagoth knew Nerevar personally, knew that he was a mortal man with faults and weaknesses. Dagoth may have some hope of seducing or negotiating with Nerevar's reincarnation. Further, when Nerevar and the Tribunal defeated Dagoth, they were strong and allied. Now the Nerevarine and the Tribunal are weak, opposed, and divided. Therefore, though the Nerevarine and the Tribunal represent the most serious threat to Dagoth's plans, he still has good reason to believe that this time he will prevail. A recent timescale of Dagoth's activities. Much of the following timescale is based on inference from incomplete information. So basically inaccurate, and you probably shouldn't put too much stock into it. Before Second Era, 882. Dagoth and his kin lie dreaming beneath the sills of Red Mountain. Second Era, 882. Dagoth and his ash vampires awake, refreshed, and emerge from the lower Red Mountain into the Heart Chamber. Dagoth ritually binds himself and his brethren as heart rites in a ritual of his own devising. First stages of construction of Second Numidium, conceived during the long sleep, are begun by Heartwights and Atronach constructs in a chamber near the heart of Lorkhan. Keeping the Second Numidium project a secret from the Tribunal is a high priority. 882 again. The Tribunal arrive at Red Mountain for their annual ritual bathing in the heart's power. Dagotha and Ash vampires ambush the Tribunal. The Tribunes are driven away and prevented from restoring themselves with Kagranak's tools at the heart of Lorkhan. Second Era 882 to Third Era 417. That's a long time period. Intermittent Tribunal campaigns assault Red Mountain. The Tribunal and supporting forces seek to force access to the Heart Chamber, but are repeatedly driven back. Dagotha recruits sleepers and dreamers through dreams, sending cultists and recruited through dream compulsion. Weaker cultists become corporous beasts. Stronger cultists advance through stages towards the powers of the ascended sleepers. Third Era 400. Kogoran reoccupied by Dagoth Uthal and fortified as an advanced base for Sixth House operations. Blightstorms are more frequent and widespread. Soul sickness spreads in regions close to Red Mountain. Third Era 410. Sixth House base is found near Gunnar Mok and in waterfront areas of Vivek. Sixth House operatives exploit smuggler organizations and communications to spread their influence among victims unbalanced by Dagotha's dream sendings. Third Era 415. Small cells of Sixth House cultists in every town in Vardenfell. Larger Sixth House operations are concealed in remote dungeons where creatures are bred and cultists are trained for the coming struggle. Third Era 417. Almalexia and Sotha Sil lose the artifacts Keening and Sunder to Dagoth Odros and Vemin. Vivek rescues Almalexia and Sotha Sil, but failing to recover Keening and Sunder, the Tribunal retreat from Red Mountain in disorder. Surviving Buoyant Armiger companions know the Tribunal was forced to retreat, but do not know how serious a reversal the Tribunal has suffered. The three Tribunes return to their respective capitals and continue to perform their ritual functions. The Tribunes continue to grow weaker without access to the heart, and because of resources required to support the Ghost Fence. The inner circle of the Temple priesthood has begun to suspect the Tribunes have suffered seriously from wounds and demoralization in the wake of reverses at Red Mountain, but do not recognize the scale of the problem. Third Era 426 to 427, which is the current year, I think. Campaign of Sixth House Let's try that again. Campaign of Sixth House assassinations of prominent Imperial citizens and Hlalu Imperial sympathizers. Sudden increase in number and seriousness of attacks by cultists and victims deranged by soul sickness. Noted with concern. 1. Dagoth can apparently perceive and communicate directly through his cultists. Sleepers and dreamers are often reported speaking as though with Dagother's voice and intention. 2. Little is known about the features, scale, or stage of completion of Akulakan, Second Numidium. No one has gained entrance to the Heart Chamber since Second Era 282. In Third Era 417, Keening and Sunder were captured and may substantially aid in Akulakan's construction. Yeah, that was a lot of lore. a lot of lore. Do we have... I definitely gave us some other stuff. Note from Archcanon, no. Did we read that? I think we did. Scroll of Tyrant, no, we don't want scrolls. Public notice, progress of truth. Plan to defeat Dagoth. See, I knew you gave us something else. How long is this? Oh my god. Okay, you know what? We're going to leave the plan for now because I think that's something we can kind of read like as we go. So, I assume that this is his library he was talking about. Plan. Okay, well, we've already got the plan. The Battle of Red Mountain, Dagother's plans, Nerevar at Red Mountain. Okay, well, we take all of them. Yeah, so that's just the second one of the plan. Dagother's plans. Yeah, okay, so that's what we just read. Don't really know why they give you two copies, but whatever. And then we have the Battle of Red Mountain and Nerevar at Red Mountain. I don't know which one is... Okay, yeah, so this one's the one written by Vivek. How long is this? Oh my god, yeah, these are really long, actually. Oh, Jesus Christ. How long is this? Yeah. Okay, I mean... Yeah, you know what? I did say this was going to be a lore episode, so we are going to read them because they are, I keep pressing the wrong buttons. They are important to the lore, and they are important to, I think, the understanding of what we're actually about to do. So I want to read them. Like I said, if you already know the lore, you're not interested, just skip to the next episode. We won't be doing anything other than lore in this episode, but I hope it's still vaguely entertaining, you know? Okay, so let's read... I want to read the Vex ones first. Battle of Red Mountain. Okay. The Battle of Red Mountain and the Rise and Fall of the Tribunal. The following is a transcript of the words of Lord Vivec, addressed to a dissident priest, Malor O'Main, who confronted Vivec with the Ashlander traditions surrounding the Battle of Red Mountain, and with prophecies of the Nerevarine, and to unnamed magistrates of the Inquisition who joined Vivec in interrogating the dissident priests. Who can clearly recall the events of the distant past, but you have asked me to tell you in my own words. The events surrounding the Battle of Red Mountain, the birth of the Tribunal, and the prophecies of Nerevar Reborn. Here is what I can tell you. When the Kaimer first abandoned the herds and tents of their nomadic ancestors and built the first great houses, we loved the Daedra and worshipped them as gods. But our brethren, the Dwemer, scorned the Daedra and mocked our foolish rituals and preferred instead their gods of reason and logic. So the Kaimer and Dwemer were always at bitter war until the Nords came and invaded Resdain. Resdain is the old name for Morrowind, by the way. Only then did the Kaimer and Dwemer put away their strife and join together to cast out the invaders. Once the Nords were driven out, General Nerevar of the Kaimer and General Dumac of the Dwemer, who had come to love and respect one another, resolved to make peace between their peoples. In that time, I was but a junior counsellor to Nerevar, and Nerevar's queen, Almalexia, and his other favourite counsellor, Sotha Sil, always doubted that such a peace might long survive, given the bitter disputes between Kaimer and Dwemer, but by negotiation and compromise, Nerevar and Dumac somehow managed to preserve a fragile peace. But when Dagoth Lord of House Dagoth, and trusted as a friend by both Nerevar and the Dwemer, brought us proof that High Engineer Kagranak of the Dwemer had discovered the heart of Lorkhan, and that he had learned how to tap its powers and was building a new god, a mockery of Kaimer faith and a fearsome weapon, we all urged Nerevar to make war on the dwarves and to destroy this threat to Kaimer belief and security. Nerevar was troubled. He went to Dumac and asked if what Dagoth said was true, but Kagranak took great offence and asked who Nerevar thought he was, that he might presume to judge the affairs of the Dwemer. Nerevar was further troubled and made pilgrimage to Holomaean, the sacred temple of Azura, and Azura confirmed that all that Dagoth said was indeed true, and that the creation of a new god of the Dwemer should be prevented at all costs. When Nerevar came back and told us what the goddess had said, we felt our judgments confirmed, and again counselled him to war, chiding Nerevar for his naive trust in friendship, and reminding Nerevar of his duty to protect the faith and security of the Kaimer against the impiety and dangerous ambition of the Dwemer. Then Nerevar went back to Vardenfell one last time, hoping that negotiations and compromise might once again preserve the peace, but this time the friends Nerevar and Dumac quarrelled bitterly, and as a result the Kaimer and Dwemer went to war. The Dwemer were well defended by their fortress at Red Mountain, but Nerevar's cunning drew most of Dumac's armies out into the field and pinned them there, while Nerevar, Dagoth and a small group of companions could make their way into the Heart Chamber by secret means. There, Nerevar, the Kaimer king, met Dumac, the dwarf king, and they both collapsed from grievous wounds and draining magics. With Dumac fallen and threatened by Dagoth and others, Kagranak turned his tools on the heart, and Nerevar said he saw Kagranak and all his Dwemer companions at once disappear from the world. In that instant, Dwemer everywhere disappeared without a trace, but Kagranak's tools remained, and Dagoth seized them, and he carried them to Nerevar, saying, "That fool Kagranak has destroyed his own people with these things. We should destroy them right away, lest they fall into the wrong hands." But Nerevar was resolved to confer with his queen and his generals, who had foreseen that this would come, and whose counsel he would not ignore again. "I will ask the tribunal what we shall do with them, for they have had wisdom in the past that I have not. Stay here, loyal Dagoth, until I return." So Nerevar told Dagoth to protect the tools and the heart chamber until he returned. Then Nerevar was carried to us where we waited on the slopes of Red Mountain, and he told us all that had transpired under Red Mountain. What Nerevar had said was that the Dwemer had used special tools to turn their people into immortals, and that the heart of Lorkhan held wondrous powers. Only later did we hear from others present that Dagothr had thought the Dwemer destroyed, not made immortal, and no one knows for sure what really happened there. After hearing Nerevar, we gave our counsel as he requested, proposing, we should preserve these tools in trust for the welfare of the Khymer people, and who knows, perhaps the Dwemer are not gone forever, but merely transported to some distant realm, from which they may someday return to threaten our security once again. Therefore, we need to keep these tools, to study them and their principles, so that we may be safe in future generations. And although Nerevar voiced his grave misgivings, he was willing to be ruled by our council, under one condition, that we all together should swear a solemn oath upon Azura that the tools would never be used in the profane manner that the Dwemer had intended. We all readily agreed and swore solemn oaths at Nerevar's dictation. So then we went with Nerevar back into Red Mountain and met with Dagothr. Dagothr refused to deliver the tools to us, saying they were dangerous and we could not touch them. Dagothr seemed to be irrational, insisting that only he could be trusted with the tools, and then we guessed that he had somehow been affected by his handling of the tools. But now I feel sure that he had privately learned the powers of the tools and had in some confused way decided he must have them for himself. Then Nerevar and our guard resorted to force to secure the tools. Somehow Dagothr and his retainers escaped, but we gained the tools and delivered them to Sotha Sil for study and safekeeping. For some years we kept the oaths we swore to Azura with Nerevar, but during that time in secret, Sotha Sil must have studied the tools and divined their mysteries, and at last he came to us with a vision of a new world of peace, with justice and honour for nobles, and health and prosperity for the commoners, with a tribunal as immortal patrons and guides. And dedicating ourselves to this version of a better world, we made a pilgrimage to Red Mountain and transformed ourselves with the power of Khagranak's tools. And no sooner had we completed our rituals and begun to discover our newfound powers, the Daedra Lord Azura appeared and cursed us for our forsworn oaths. By her powers of prophecy, she assured us that her champion, Nerevar, true to his oath, would return to punish us for our perfidy and to make sure such profane knowledge might never again be used to mock and defy the will of the gods. But Sotha Sil said to her, the old gods are cruel and arbitrary, and distant from the hopes and fears of Mer. Your age is past. We are the new gods, born of the flesh, and wise and caring of the needs of our people. Spare us your threats and chiding, inconstant spirit. We are bold and fresh, and will not fear you. And then, in that moment, all Khymer were changed into Dunmer, and our skins turned ashen, and our eyes into fire. Of course, we only knew at that time that this had happened to us, but Azura said, this is not my act, but your act. You have chosen your fate, and the fate of your people, and all the Dunmer shall share your fate, from now until the end of time. You think yourself gods, but you are blind, and all is darkness. And Azura left us alone in the darkness, and we were all afraid. But we put on brave faces and went forth from Red Mountain to build the new world of our dreams. And the new world we shaped was glorious and generous, and the worship of the Dunmer fervent and grateful. The Dunmer were at first afraid of their new faces, but Sotha Sil spoke to them, saying that it was not a curse but a blessing, a sign of their changed natures, and a sign of the special favour they might enjoy as new Mer. No longer barbarians trembling before ghosts and spirits, but civilized Mer, speaking directly to their immortal friends and patrons, the three faces of the tribunal. And we were all inspired by Sotha Sil's speech and vision, and took heart, and over time we crafted the customs and institutions of a just and honourable society, and the land of Resdain knew millennia of peace, equity, and prosperity unknown to other savage races. But beneath Red Mountain, Dagothr had survived, and even as the light of our bold new world shined ever more brightly, beneath Red Mountain the darkness gathered, a darkness that was close kin to the bright light that Sotha Sil coaxed from the heart of Lorkhan with the tools of Khagranak. As the darkness grew, we fought it, and crafted walls to confine it, but we never could destroy it, for the source of the darkness was the same source as the source of our own divine inspiration. And in these latter days of Morrowind, reduced to a subjugated province of the Western Empire, as the glory of the temple fades and the dark tides rises from Red Mountain, we are reminded of Azura and her promised champion's return. We have waited blind and in darkness, mere shadows, drained of our ardent vision, in shame of our folly, in fear of our judgment, and in hope of our deliverance. We do not know if the Outlander claiming to fulfill the prophecies of the Nerevarine is our old companion Nerevar reborn, or a pawn of the Emperor, or a catspaw of Azura. I don't know what a catspaw is, or some simple twist of fate, but we insist you adhere to temple doctrine and conform to the strictures dividing the hierographer from the apocrypha, and that you do not speak that which must not be spoken openly. Act as a dutiful priest should, in accordance with your vows of obedience to the canons and archcanons, and all will be forgiven. Defy me, and you will know what it is to stand against a god. Okay, and then the final thing we have is Nerevar Red Mountain, which is like the Ashlander version. The following is from the Apocrypha, the hidden writings of the Tribunal Temple. It is a scholarly retelling of the tradition transmitted through the Ashlanders concerning the battle at Red Mountain and subsequent events. The Ashlanders associate this tale with the telling of Elandro Sul, a shield companion of Nerevar who came to live among the Ashlanders after the death of Nerevar and during the ascension of the Tribunal. There are many variant treatments of this story, but the primary elements are consistent throughout the tradition. The murder of Nerevar, the tragic fate of Dagoth, and the profane source of the Tribunal's divine powers are denied by temple doctrine as ignorant Ashlander superstition and not widely known among civilized Dunmer. If you're wondering, there's like at least 15 different versions of what happened at Red Mountain, and I'm pretty sure that when the developers made Morrowind, I don't think there was actually a consensus at Bethesda about what the actual true story was, so this very much is up in the air. I think it's probably a little bit of everything, to be honest. There tends to be a little bit of truth to all stories, but yeah, both of these are equally possible, I would say. But let's be honest, Irvellin believes Vivek's word for word. So, Resdayn, present-day Morrowind, was contested ground between two very different types of Mer: the Kaimer, who worshipped Daedra, and the Dwemer, who worshipped a profane and secret power. These two people warred with each other constantly until their lands were invaded by a young, vibrant, and violent alien culture, the Nords. Two heroes, one from the Kaimer and one from the Dwemer, Indoril Nerevar and Dumak Dwarf Orc. I don't know, what's the meaning of Dwarf Orc? I don't know. Made peace between their people and together ousted the alien invaders. Then these two heroes worked long and hard to maintain that peace thereafter, though their counsellors thought it could not last, or worse, that it shouldn't. Nerevar's queen and his generals, Almalexia, Sothasil, Vivek, told him to claim all Resdayn for his own, but Nerevar would not listen, for he remembered his friendship with Dumak. There would be only peace. Until Dagoth arrived. House Dagoth had discovered the source of the profane and secret power of the Dwemer, the legendary Heart of Lorkhan, which Dumak's people had used to make themselves immortal and beyond the measure of the gods. In fact, one of their high priests, Kagranak, was building a new god so that the Dwemer could claim Resdayn for their own. The tribunal urged Nerevar again to make war on the dwarves. Nerevar was troubled. He went to Dumak, his friend of old, and asked if what Dagoth said was true, that Kagranak and the high priests of the Dwemer had kept their new god secret from their king, and Dumak said the Dwemer were innocent of any wrongdoing. Nerevar was troubled again and made pilgrimage to Holomayan, the sacred temple of Azura, who confirmed that all of Dagoth said was indeed true, and that the new god of the Dwemer should be destroyed for the safety of not only Resdayn, but for the whole world. When Nerevar went back and told his tribunal what the goddess had said, his queen and generals felt themselves proved right, and again counselled him to war. There were reasons that the Dwemer and Kaimer had hated each other forever. Finally, Nerevar, angered that his old friend Dumak would lie to him, went back to Vardenfell. This time, the Kaimer king was arrayed in arms and armour and had his hosts around him, and he spoke harshly to Dumak Dwarf Orc, king of Red Mountain. You must give up your worship of the Heart of Lorkhan, or I shall forget our friendship and the deeds that were accomplished in its name. And Dumak, who still knew nothing of Kagranak's new god, but proud and protective as ever of his people, said, We shall not relinquish that which has been our way for years, beyond reckoning, just as the Kaimer will not relinquish their ties to the lords and ladies of Oblivion. And to come at my door in this way, arrayed in arms and armour, and with your hosts around you, tells me you have already forgotten our friendship. Stand down, my sweet Nerevar, or I swear by the 15 golden tones I shall kill you and all your people. And so the Kaimer and Dwemer went to war. The Dwemer were well defended by their fortress at Red Mountain, but the bravery and cleverness of Nerevar's queen and generals drew most of Dumak's armies out into the field and kept them there, so that Nerevar and Dagoth could make their way into the Heart Chamber by secret means. There Nerevar met Dumak and the Dwarf King, and they both fell from grievous wounds. Dagothr slew Cagranach and took the tools the Dwemer used to trap the power of the heart. He went to his dying lord Nerevar and asked him what to do with these tools. And Nerevar summoned Azura again, and she showed him how to use the tools to separate the power of the heart from the Dwemer people. And on the fields, the Tribunal and their armies watched as the Dwemer turned into dust all around them as their stolen immortality was taken away. Back in Red Mountain, Nerevar told Dagothr to protect the tools and the heart chamber until he returned. Dagothr said, "But shouldn't we destroy these tools at once so that they might never be used for evil again?" But Nerevar was confused by his wounds and his sorrow, for he still loved Dumak and the Dwemer people. So he went to the fields outside of Red Mountain to confer with his queen and his generals, who had foreseen that this war would come and whose counsel he would not ignore again. "I will ask the tribunal what we shall do with them, for they have had wisdom in the past that I had not. Stay here, loyal Dagothr, until I return." Then Nerevar told his queen and generals all that had transpired under Red Mountain, and how the Dwemer had used special tools to turn their people into immortals, and the wondrous power of the heart of Lorkhan. The tribunal decided that the Chimer should learn how to use this power so that Nerevar might claim Resdayn and the world for their people. Nerevar did not expect or want this, so he asked his queen and generals to help him summon Azura yet again for her guidance. But the tribunal had become as greedy as Cagranach upon hearing of the power of the heart, and they coveted it. They made ritual as if to summon Azura, as Nerevar wanted, but Almalexia used poisoned candles, and Sothasil used poisoned robes, and Vivek used poisoned invocations. Nerevar was murdered. Then Azura came forth anyway and cursed the tribunal for their foul deeds. She told them that she would use her powers over dusk and dawn to make sure Nerevar would come back and make things right again. But the tribunal laughed at her and said that soon they would be gods themselves, and that the Chimer people would forget their old ways of worship, and Azura knew this would be true, and that it would take a long time before her power might bring Nerevar back. "What you have done here today is foul beyond measure, and you will grow to regret it. For the lives of gods are not what mortals think, and matters that weigh only years to mortals weigh on gods forever." And so that they might know forever their wicked deeds, Azura changed the Chimer into the Dunmer, and their skin turned ashen, and their eyes into fire. Let this mark remind you of your true selves, who, like ghouls, fed on the nobility, heroism, and trust of their king. And then the tribunal went into Red Mountain and met with Dagothr. Dagothr saw what had been done, for his skin had changed as well, and he tried to avenge the death of Nerevar, but to no avail. He was driven off and thought dead. The tribunal found the tools that he'd been guarding, and through study of Cagranach's methods, turned themselves into gods. Thousands of years after their apotheosis, the tribunal are still the gods of Morrowind, and the old ways of worship are remembered only by a few, and the murder of Nerevar is known to fewer, but his queen and generals still fear his return, for the words of Azura linger long, and they see the mark of her curse on their people every day. So there we go, that was a whole lot of lore. Let me just double check now that we've read those. Vivek, you don't have any more dialogue, do you? No. Okay, no more dialogue. That's excellent. So, I'm going to leave this episode here. I will look up whether or not we need to finish the, I forget what they're called. If you look at our journal, you can probably see it. Quests. Yeah, Sleeper's Awake, I think. Yeah, I spoke with someone who called themselves a sleeper. Yeah, and then we had a weird dream, didn't we? Okay, yes, we've had multiple weird dreams, I guess. Yeah, so I don't know, because it doesn't really tell us what to do about this. I mean, we can speak to some people about, you know, like, oh, I've had a weird dream, but they always just say, like, oh, we don't talk about, we don't do that here, so I don't know, like, it doesn't tell me to actually do anything. So, I mean, maybe it's just kind of a constant thing, like, so that if we kill, I guess if we clear out, you know, 6 house bases, it kind of just encourages you to do that, but there's no quest markers in this game, so it's kind of difficult. I don't really know, but anyway, I will look that up. And regardless, in the next episode, we are going to be heading to Red Mountain. We also have a couple of other things to do. Yeah, we've got the Cleaver of St. Felms, which is basically in Red, it's like around here somewhere. We've got Verminal, Odrasal. Oh, that's just Dagothr. I guess that's like the heart chamber. It's weird that they just call it Dagoth there. That's weird, but whatever. But yeah, there's a whole load of locations like within the ghost fence. And they're all like 6th house bases and stuff, and there's actually like multiple temple artifacts that are within the ghost fence. So yeah, we've got some stuff to do. But anyway, that is for the next episode. We'll read Dagothar's, you know, like plans and stuff or whatever that was, as we go, as we complete things, because that's quite enough reading for now. But for now, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, regardless of the fact that it has been a lot of talking. And, you know, hopefully, you know, if you're like me and you've never played Morrowind before, I'm sure you wanted to hear the lore, so there you go. And if not, well, you're not here anyway, and I hope you enjoyed skipping the video to next episode where we'll have more action. So for now, I hope you have enjoyed. Like it if you have, subscribe if you want to see more, and Vivek and I will see you in the next episode.